It's 11:55 on a Saturday night. Let's do this. Good evening, Hampton Roads, or I should say good night, Hampton Roads. Good night, Northeast North Carolina. It's 5 minutes before midnight here on a Saturday night. My name is David Aldrich, Chief Meteorologist of WTKR News 3 Television, and you're watching a special edition of First Warning Live because we're under a winter storm warning, don't you know? At least some of us are. And the question is, what are you seeing? Because we're now complete. The 11 o'clock news is now behind us. I'm kind of curious because now it's really very little content for me to show you. I want to know what you're seeing because some of you can sound off. You say, hey, I've gotten some snow. You know, I got a text from our good buddy, senior meteorologist Miles Henderson's got some snow. He's out there in the Great Bridge neighborhood of Chesapeake. Did you get some snow? Well, I'm getting it right now. Maybe you are. But if you're watching it hours from now, maybe you're not. Isn't that weird how weather works? Oh, by the way, Lori, actually this was from Williamsburg. I wanted to show you the one we had outside the station, but this is just as good because this is an old Williamsburg snow, and they're bound to have some snow too in the coming days, coming hours, in fact. You can see what we're seeing now. This is a big storm system. The snow in white is covering much of the Commonwealth, but there's a mix already in the Raleigh area and now approaching Bertie County. South of Windsor, I see some little changeover in color, but it's also a very ugly mess in East Tennessee and Southeast Kentucky and really southwestern sections of Virginia near Bristol. It looks like a changeover has already occurred in many of those locations. And I suspect, even though it might be snowing in your neighborhood, this is your chance to let me know what you're seeing. Chelsea Lynn, I believe, left this note 3 hours ago. She said, I see a few flurries in Virginia Beach. Well, Miss Chelsea Lynn, I think you're probably seeing more than just a few flurries right now, because this looks like it's probably snowing pretty good. I mean, what a difference 3 hours makes. I mean, to be fair, that was a comment that was left 3 hours ago, but this is your chance to sound off, because you know many of you could leave a comment, your picture will show up, and I give props to our friend Chelsea Lynn because she put her close up. See, I can see her smiling, beautiful face there. She left a comment. You can do the same, and you can actually post a picture. You know the little camera icon? So if you have a snow picture, share it with me, like Miles had sent one there of the Great Bridge area. So I'd love to see your neighborhood. This would be a great time to do it. Stephanie Blackley, I believe, left this note 3 hours ago. She said, snowing in Hampton. I would suspect it's probably still snowing in Hampton because this is the 11:58, right there is the snapshot. I could stop the radar so it's not so looping all the time. But this is where we are at the moment. And I'm kind of curious to know what you are seeing. We'll go ahead and take this full screen. But we are getting some snow. But you can see the changeover is already beginning to take over in parts of Bertie County. What does that mean? It means it's probably a blend of icy pellets and snowflakes. And so when you start mixing in some of the sleet, you're not going to get the accumulation factor that you'd hope for if you are on Team Snow. If you're hoping for rapid accumulation, you're going to find that when it turns dark blue. But my concern is that we probably have another 2 hours, maybe 2 hours, 2 hours left, probably till 3 a.m. tops for Virginia Beach and Norfolk. This area here that I've circled probably has a time limit on how much more time you're going to get snow because the changeover is going to happen pretty rapidly in terms of the night, right? Because you put your head on the pillow, I don't know when you go to bed, or when you watch this, but once you put your head on the pillow, probably about 2 or 3 a.m., most of us will have changed over. And then by the time the sun comes up, the sleet that will have moved in will go over to all rain. And then it's down the drain she goes. So this is chapter 1, snow. I don't need to tell you what you're getting. You could tell me. Here's a great chance for you to tell me. And I'm going to go ahead and check in with some new comments because some of the old ones, well, this one's 3 hours old too. This is Teresa Ann says East Beach is snowing lightly. Again, that was left 2 hours ago. So thank you very much, Teresa Ann, for that photo, and for at least that photo, your photo, and for the update. So let me import the new comments, and I think that would be probably more helpful. So I'll keep the radar there, and you can track where you live, your neighborhood. But as I import the new comments, this way I can get the new comments. I've got 139 comments from the stream I did earlier this evening. So that's a whole lot of comments to keep track of. So I want to see the new ones, and oh my goodness, there's some new ones here too. So let's see. I got to see some new ones here. Let me put this on here and see if they'll populate. I think they will. Yep. I got Tammy Nash is on here. She says ground is covered in Windsor. And it's interesting too, Tammy Nash. I love the picture. Congratulations if you're newly married there. Or maybe it's an older wedding picture, but it looks beautiful. The ground is covered in Windsor, and we're already beginning to see the changeover here. This is the area that now you're going to be importing a whole new precipitation type. So if the ground is covered, what we say, half inch maybe, it's fleeting, right? It's going to, Mother Nature, I suspect, is going to pull a fast one. I called it easy snow, easy go. Mother Nature's going to pull a David Blaine, a David Copperfield. For you older folks, maybe a Doug Henning. It's suddenly going to disappear. So what you see now won't be there tomorrow morning. Well, that's a bold statement. It's not that bold because we know this is all going to change over. It's fleeting. So this is just the first chapter in the big picture, and the big picture will take us through tomorrow. So most of Sunday will be climbing into the 40s, and it's all rain. Cold rain for most of the day, at least in these areas, Windsor being one of them. Let me keep moving, but I'll just show you the radar. It's snowing in Williamsburg. Gloucester's getting some snow. Looks like it's trying to snow, and sometimes the radar is going to have some soft spots, but it's snowing in many parts from essentially Norfolk, Chesapeake, Hickory, South Mills getting some snow, and you can see it in Smithfield, Newport News, and Suffolk. And as I continue over the radar, I'm going to continue to look at some of the new comments that might be coming in. Jacob is on here, got a comment. Jacob says, still snowing heavy in Portsmouth. Thank you for that update. Love to see that. Great pictures. If you have a picture, attach it. If you're loving the snow, and Kim says she is, loving the snow, she put 3 snowflakes. I would love to see. Some of you might be able to attach a photo. I think that would be really, really cool. I'd love to be able to see what you are seeing. We'll do our best to put it on the screen because it should be able to be attached. Eunice Daniels got an update. She has snow in Virginia Beach. So we had from earlier tonight, what was it, 2 hours, 3 hours ago, from Shelley Lynn. She says just a few flurries. But Eunice Daniels, hours later, says, no, it's really snowing here. And I believe you. I believe you. But it could very well be changing over where we see that little pink mix. Go back to the other slide here. In fact, I think I'll go back 2 slides. 2 slides. There's 1 and there's 2. Yeah, you can see the purple. Do you see the purple in Windsor? I'm still highlighting this because what's going to happen is the color coding here takes an average temperature. Doesn't mean it's not sleeting. It could be sleeting in Northampton, but it's showing up as blue. It's going to take the average temperature, and when it starts to show signs of warm air moving along, it's going to change. And now it's starting to probably turn over to icy pellets in much of Bertie County, I suspect, if this radar is to be believed. And I suspect that that's the process. I suspect we probably have 2 hours or less before it starts to change over in Virginia Beach. So the party is going to be short-lived. That's why I'm doing this live here at now at 12:03. By the way, happy Sunday, everybody. It's now the 25th of January. I just wanted to wish everybody a happy Sunday. We're going to continue on. I want to see your pictures. It's real easy. If you have the little camera icon where you leave a comment and you have taken a photo on your phone, you can upload it. It'll show up right here. That's how cool it is. If it's done right, or maybe some phones don't have that button, but hopefully some of you can, and we can import those photos on the screen in somewhat real time. That would be pretty cool. But as I look at this again, I'm looking at some of these comments. Miss Lucas, if I have this right, still fluffy snow, and grounds are covered here off of Shore Drive in Virginia Beach. Well, thank you. Thank you so much, Miss Lucas. I appreciate it. A beautiful smile there. TD Camp snowing in Greenbrier. And I do see now TD Camp, you got to give him props. He's been a long-standing neighborhood weather watcher for our TV station. If you're not familiar with our TV station, perhaps you're watching from maybe outside of our region, WTKR, it's been around for 75 years. TD Camp, I don't know how many years you've been a neighborhood weather watcher, probably a long time, well back before Patrick Rocky, but snowing in Greenbrier, and notice what he's written here. This is not to be misled or ignored. Light snow and pellets mix. Icy pellets meaning. So the mix is already embedded, and you say, well, how could that be? Because it's showing blue in Greenbrier. It's because this is taking an average temperature, right? That's why having neighborhood weather spotters and watchers are key. They're indispensable. TD Camp and so many of our other neighborhood weather watchers and our WTKR photographers who capture a lot of the beauty around here, this is actually very important. So even Greenbrier is suggested here by his comment, which was just left here. How long ago was TD's comment? About 1 minute ago. It's snowing in Greenbrier, but it's also maybe sounding like icy pellet mix. So it's not going to be long, folks, 2 hours or less. I say it's 12:05. I'd say before 2 a.m. if you stay up that late, and I don't suspect I will be up that late, but I'll live stream here as long as you want. I didn't prepare a lot of content here because this was your chance to sound off. And I mean that because for me to tell you what you're going to get, it's happening now. You tell me what you're getting. I can anticipate the mix and the rain that's going to follow. You understand? So the rain will be the dominant player for the Virginia Beaches, Norfolks, Portsmouths. If you're in Williamsburg, Gloucester, we're more concerned about the ice, and I want to get to that too here in a second. So got some snow in Williamsburg right now, got some snow in Gloucester. We've kind of highlighted snowing in Newport News, but it seems like it's really dark blue here. This would be like big flakes, maybe. Is that what you're seeing? Maybe a bit of a mix. The winter storm warning runs till 7 p.m. Sunday. Does not include Elizabeth City. Let me be clear. Again, this is a decision not made by me, but this is from the National Weather Service out of Wakefield and Morehead City. So they don't include Duck or Currituck or Elizabeth City or even Edenton for the very reason that they thought it doesn't reach their criteria. Mostly rain for you, and you're not going to feel the worst of the effects. Could you get some snow in Windsor? Absolutely. But it doesn't necessarily define the night because it's going to already change over and probably disappear pretty quickly once the rain begins, once the rain commences. Our temperature change. So cold. I mean, everybody felt the cold today, or I should say yesterday. Now, because it's 12:06 a.m., it's 18 degrees colder in Franklin, Suffolk, 19 degrees colder now in Wakefield, 14 colder in Norfolk. And as of midnight, there's the new temperature. Ding, 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 ding. Hey, that's interesting. Do you see a pattern here? It was 23 degrees at 10 o'clock, 22. Then it was 23. Now it's 24. Do you see what's happening? The temperatures are beginning to rise at the surface. Oh, but it's just 1 or 2 degrees. But that's a difference. It's also warming upstairs. It's warming aloft. And once it starts warming aloft, then suddenly your precipitation type, it goes into the changing category. And suddenly you're going to get a mix. But the fact that it's warmed up a couple of degrees over the last 2 hours says to me there ain't much more time to enjoy the snow. I didn't say you wouldn't enjoy it in the moment. I just said it's not going to be there in the morning after the rain starts kicking in. Does that make sense? I hope it does. All right, so here we go. Just want to highlight one more aspect of this. Again, we got temperatures right now, 22, 21. Again, if you have some pictures, let me know. Scott is on here. Scott says it's very light snow in Williamsburg. That's okay. You'll have time for picking up later on when this moisture starts lifting north. Ralph is on here. He's in the Ghent neighborhood. He says Ghent and Norfolk generally blanketed with snow at the moment. It's at 12:07. Thank you, Ralph. Ralph, you realize your comment is helping anyone who's watching this in real time, so appreciate that. And there could be people watching from out of town. Maybe they're on business. It's like, oh, I was curious about Norfolk. I was concerned about the Ghent neighborhood. And I'm in the Ghent neighborhood here at the station on Bush Street. So we're doing this live because I just felt like, am I obligated to do this? No. Did my bosses tell me to do this? No. It's just because I love weather. It's just, if you can't see that from what I do every day, I just love doing this. But if I know I can help people, get people to understand that this weather is changeable. It's not going to stay the same. If it were, we might have had some crazy totals that people anticipated as far back as Dr. King Day, but it's going to turn out it's probably about a trace to 2. Not much more than that for Virginia Beach. Now, if you look at our wind chills, oh my goodness, it feels like 11 right now. Are you telling me it feels like 11? Yeah, it feels like 11 right now. That's cold. And when the temperature actually is 24. So how does 24 suddenly feel like 11? Well, it's because we have a northeast wind about 17 miles an hour. It's gusty to 26. 11 is also being felt in Hampton, in Newport News. Gloucester, you feel like 9. In Melfa, 11 in Gloucester, 12 in Virginia Beach. This is just brutal. It's been like that all day. Felt like 6. Now, we put this forecast out in pretty much this form, not expecting much more than what I was expecting, maybe 1/2 inch to 3, trace to 2. It really was going to matter how quickly do those icy pellets mix in, because that will mute the totals. And this is a range. You got to think like a field goal kicker in the NFL. Perfect timing, because the games are going to be played later today. It's 12:09. When you have uprights at a kicker, right, they got to get it in between. So if it's 2, maybe on the high end, some might have 3 on this line area, 2 to 4. But I think that's reasonable. If you want more snow, head up to Richmond. They're going to have bigger problems, and so might other people, because we're also dealing with this. This is what's next. You have snow now, but it's the ice accumulation that's primarily west of areas. If I go back here, I didn't want to render for some reason, but you can see that the ice accumulation is going to be maybe mainly west of Norfolk. That's my concern. Let me see if my map wants to get locked up on me all of a sudden. There it is. And I know what, I suddenly realized what's happened. Because we switched over into the midnight hour, my computer is thinking that tomorrow is another day. But I can tell you that there was generally most of the icing to be on this side of the playing field. So if you're in Emporia, about an inch. Gloucester, I believe the last was 0.8. So it dropped a little bit by 0.2. But that's still a lot of ice, sleet and freezing rain. So we got to be careful of that. My apologies to you, but we will pick up about an inch of water. So that's the pie, right? You have about an inch of water. If this were just snow, you'd have 12 inches on a 10-to-1 ratio. But snow is going to be the smallest sliver. I think most of it's going to be rain, with a big R. Rain will be the biggest piece of the puzzle, and you'll feel that, see that, know that while you're watching football in most neighborhoods tomorrow. Does that make sense? That's still what's coming. We're going to have quite a bit of rain. The GFS model shows 0.9. I think the Euro was 1.3, but roughly about an inch across much of the neighborhoods. There's the accumulation. Okay, so now you get a sense. So this is the GFS model where you see the brighter pinks would be probably closer to a quarter to a half inch or more. And they're not as aggressive with the ice, the GFS model, as the Euro is in Gloucester, but you get a sense it could be a lot worse for Richmond. So if you're traveling tomorrow, and I don't know why you'd want to travel, just know that they're advising you to be extra careful or stay off the roads if you can. It's just probably a good idea. I told you I had limited amount of content, so I'm going to see what's going on here. Andrew Robertson, shout out to him. Thank you for staying up late, Andrew Robertson, love the close-up picture. Snow in Buckrow, Hampton. Very icy looking flakes, maybe a half inch so far. Okay, I think when you think uprights, trace to 2, and if you're in Hampton, I think you might maybe skew closer to 2, 2.5, who knows? But again, we're not in the world of certainty, we are in the world of predicting forecasts, right? What you can expect. I got some other notes here. Temps are dropping. TD had a follow-up. Love hearing some information that you might have. Temperatures are dropping here as well. He's at 23 all day. Now he's down to 22. So he might be losing some of the temperature. Raleigh was 19, but it was changing over to a pink mix. So once you start getting some warm air aloft, you're going to start to see some changes as time goes on this evening. I think it's going to be within the next 2 hours by 2 a.m. local time here. We appreciate you doing lives, Dave. My pleasure. This is why I do this. I do this not because it's helping me. I'd rather go back to bed like many of you, but I think it helps people. Also calms fears, right? So you add a little bit of knowing, okay, if I know this is going to be, I'm going to avoid this area for travel. And then we know that the rain's eventually going to come. Let me go back to this. I wanted to be able to interact with this map as I look over at some new comments. Let's see here. Let's see. Somebody's offering to clear driveways. I don't think that'll be necessary simply because once the rain's here, it's going to be moving down. And let's see here. I got a note from Jordan Sky. I'm in Virginia Beach and it's snowing. Accumulation is 1 inch higher. Some people are looking to get some work out of this. But I will say this, once this rain starts moving in, it's all going to go down the drain pretty quickly. I got a note from Angel. Angel is very sensitive to the cold, praying everyone is staying warm. Thank you, Angel Shelton. Glad to have your face and comment here watching live. Hopefully this is of help to you. So I'm going to go ahead, keep watching those pictures. I'm, again, looking for an attachment. If you have the ability to attach a photo, Taj Brown captures those. He does that. He's figured out a way to do it. So I know it's possible. But this is the map nationally and why this storm has become such a, as they call it, a monster storm, because it's so far-reaching. Right? What's the energy associated with this thing that was up in Montana? It dove down to New Orleans, and now it's going to ride back toward Knoxville, and there'll be another low off the coast, and it will all work its way out of here by Monday, very early Monday morning. But I can show you clearly from the telestrator that this is all snow and white. Going to Texas, Oklahoma, Central Texas, Arkansas, Kentucky, West Virginia, North Carolina. I mean, it's a big swath of snow, right? But you can see the reinforcements in Tennessee are multicolored. It shows green, it shows rain, it shows sleet, freezing rain. It's all advancing in this direction. And what you get, once you start getting what's called overrunning, or the new kids call the isotropic upglide, once you start getting warm air aloft, you're going to be like, man, I wish I had snow. I wish it would snow again. But once it changes, I've said this multiple times this week, once it changes, it's not going back. It's going to continue on the path where it's going to probably go to sleet, and sleep for maybe 3 or 4 hours, and then by about 7 a.m., 6 a.m., 5 a.m., depending on your neighborhood and the location of this storm, it'll be going back to all rain. And most of Sunday will be a cold rain for most of us, except inland. So we'll call Sunday rain, but ice inland of North Carolina and Virginia. That's expected. Now, we zoom in a little bit tighter. This is, you could see, maybe you have family in other parts of the country. If you're in the military, this might have some value. I'm looking at Kentucky. They're now beginning to see an onslaught. Southern Kentucky, Eastern Kentucky, Somerset, Pikeville, down from Knoxville, where it's raining, Bristol, Virginia, back toward Roanoke, where it's snow. Greensboro looks like it's mixing. Raleigh was 19 degrees, and it's showing the mix already, because the warm air aloft has already moved into the Research Triangle Park. Raleigh, Durham, Chapel Hill is seeing a mix. They're getting a mix around Greenville, South Carolina. And it's just a matter of time before we see that in Virginia Beach. And we've already had ground confirmation from our buddy T.D. Camp, who said his snow does have some elements of icy pellets. Those icy pellets will make a little bit of a noise if you're driving. It'll go ding, 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 ding. And you think, well, I did when I first heard it when I was a kid. Did I win the lottery? No. Icy pellets, translucent, they'll make a little ding, ding, ding. And when you get a lot of it, and I mean like 3/4 of an inch of it, you feel like you're walking through Epsom salt. It's the nastiest stuff. You'd rather get snow, but we're not going to get that much sleep. Maybe 1/10 of an inch of sleep. But it's just enough to transition us back into all rain as the sun is just coming up tomorrow. And it is now 12:16. I'm going to keep it going. I just want to see how you guys are faring as we see the snow here. Here's what I expect tomorrow. When I say temperatures are going to rise, we're going to go to 37. What? No way. It's only 23 degrees right now. I know, 23, but it'll be about 37 come tomorrow. You're going, no way, I didn't mean to do that. Let me go back and switch this back in. But this is what's amazing about this storm, is that temperatures were so cold this morning. It felt like 6 when it was 21 at 8 a.m. We're going to go from ice to rain, and that changeover for most of us to rain will occur at 4 or 5 a.m. And our temperatures will be warming up rapidly that we spend most of the afternoon in the lower 40s. Right? So we've got more showers, still windy, and the winds out of the northeast to the west. They're going to change direction tomorrow. So if this helps you, you're watching football, right? You're watching the AFC Championship game, NFC Championship, whatever you're watching. You'll be looking out the window. All the icy drama should be pretty much over for much of the area. Not all, but for much of the area, I think that's the case. Now, I've talked about this before. If you need to understand, that's the fun part about weather, right? It's never the same twice. Even when it's raining, there's a cold layer at 5,000 feet where it's actually snowing, and then it melts. Many people, even this summertime, you could have cold air aloft where it's cold enough to snow, but it rains and it actually is mostly warm air. But when we get this little shallow layer of warm, that's when we're going into the sleep category before 2 a.m. I think many of us are going to get the ding, ding, dings where you get these little icy pellets. That'll come back as it refreezes. That's the key there, refreezes. But I mean, it's perfect when it's snowing now because it's cold air upstairs, it's cold air downstairs. It's perfect, right? You're ready for to celebrate the holidays again. I'm dreaming of a white Christmas already. It's only January. But no, we're not to that point. Thankfully, we don't have the freezing on contact. That looks like it's going to be pretty muted in this go-around. Enough sleet's pretty annoying. It can also cause slippery travel. But freezing rain is probably the worst. And anyone who's been through an ice storm probably remember more of the freezing rain when it collects on power lines and it causes them to sag. And then the transformers start popping hours later. It's a nightmare because it's an event that can last for weeks before they can get power out. Depends on how much. And the quantity of freezing rain would have to be an inch, inch and a half, 2 inches. I've been in part of that in Tennessee and in Rochester in the years I've been forecasting. It is a nightmare when you have an ice storm of that caliber. We're not there tonight, thankfully, right? Be thankful for small favors. We're not there. We're not going to get there. But let me just go ahead as I continue on. I'm going to look at the forecast for you. So if you're wondering how cold is it going to get down the road, it's going to get colder. Highs next week with lots of sunshine, most days, will be in the 30s and 20s. And the lows will be in the teens and low 20s or around 20. I do have a little clipper system coming in on Thursday that might produce a few morning flakes, but I don't expect accumulation. Just some scattered snow showers or flakes. Big deal. No big deal. But it's cold, right? We're in the 20s. We're in the 20s again Friday. And we should start to eke out of that hole of cold air by the time we hit Saturday and Sunday of next week. But this is what I wanted to show you so that I can keep on this path of what you're seeing. Oh, I got a note. See, there it is. There it is. Sleet in Franklin, everybody. Newsflash. We got breaking news. Diana Whitehurst, thank you so much. Love the smiling face. See, kudos to all of you for whatever picture you supply to Facebook. It gets posted. I get to proofread it, but I can see Diana's beautiful picture there from Whitehurst. She says she's got sleet in Franklin. So if we go back to the radar, which we'll do, in fact, let's just do that right now. Oops, nope, I didn't put that there. I had the wrong slide. If we go, it looks like it's snow on the radar, but again, that takes the average temperature, so it doesn't know what's happening at the surface. You and I know what's happening at the surface because we go outside, we put our finger up in the air, and we see where the wind's blowing, all that stuff. But I do appreciate the update, Diana, so it's just a matter of time. It didn't take till 2 a.m. for Franklin to change over. It's changing over now. So that will mute the snowfall expectation, meaning you better measure your snow now, Diana Whitehurst, because you're not going to get much more of it. Once the sleet's on there, it'll actually compound it, and it won't look as good as it maybe does when it first fell, when the snow first fell. Let's see if I can go back a couple of slides here. We've been through this, but I'm going to keep looking at your pictures here, and I want to get another. Got Brady Lane is on here. Brady's here. Let me say hi to Brady. Brady says, "Oops, I didn't mean to fly that in. There's Brady. Brady says over an inch." In around Sussex, Virginia. Thank you for that update. People in Sussex, Virginia. Got some snow being reported in Kempsville from Sheila Carol Holdren, if I said that right. Thank you, Ms. Holden, for that update. Who do I else have here? I got Kenneth Martin Jr. says he's getting some moderate sleet. There you go. And I can hear the ice. That means lights out. Now that you've changed, you're not going to go back to snow. If that helps you, like, I can go to bed now, because I was pulling out the sled. How many of you can sled with what you got right now? Probably not. Sheepishly, you're like, well, I probably can't. And you wouldn't want to subject your children with these cold wind chills around 10 or 11, 12 degrees. Say, hey, I know it's Saturday night, but let's get the sled. That weatherman says it's going to be gone in the morning. It's going to be gone in the morning, but don't put your kids through that. It's too cold. It's not worth it. There'll be other days, other times. Do you remember we're coming up on the 1-year anniversary, February 19th, 2025. We got 10.2 inches of snow in Norfolk. You all remember it. And I only remember it because I got here 2 days after. But to follow up Kenneth Martin Jr.'s note, he says he's getting some moderate sleet. I can hear the ice hitting my roof and windows, and it's about 20 degrees outside. And I'm in Greensville County, 5 miles west of I-95, ground covered with snow. So you got both. It's messy. It's messy. Thank you for that update, Kenneth. Some of you might be watching outside of our conventional TV market, but I'm all glad that you are here. I got Nicole. She's got a comment. Hi, Nicole. Another smiling face. Love it. Snow in Virginia Beach off of Shore Drive. Thank you, Nicole. And it's going to continue. Let's see here. Somebody's joking or pulling my leg, says they got 7 inches of snow. No, that's not true. I'm not that gullible. I know that, who was it? Jordan, Andrew says it was snowing in Buckrow, Hampton. We got also about an inch in Sussex, Virginia. So there's some people that have had, but the fact that we're getting sleet in Franklin, we've got sleet in Greenbrier mixing in with some of the snow in the city of Chesapeake. It's just a matter of time before we start to see the next item up. And I think it's going to be a little bit of ice, then it's going to be washed down by a rain situation where we get over an inch of rain in many cases. That's all just a few hours away. And if I could carry on this, let's go back to this real quick. And I'm going to go ahead and switch. That's my snow expected. That's only chapter 1 of the storm itself. So let me come back down here and we'll load this up. I think this will help me out. And if I can move this up, this will make it easier. Bear with me. I have a lot of slides. In the spirit of transparency, do you see my slider bar? That's how many slides I have loaded. I've become a hoarder on slides, but that's okay because I know I can find it if I look for it. But with all the slides I've had in the last, a few hours, most of what we've seen so far, let me come back to the radar. We'll put this back on. The pictures that we were showing earlier started off with this, right? We started off with the fact we were sounding off with what we had. What are you seeing? This is your chance to sound off. I got 1 inch of snow from Eric Adams, Christopher Eric Adams. He's in Virginia Beach. Okay. I said it traced to 2, and you probably got another hour and a half left to go, Eric. Christopher Eric Adams, thank you for that. We'll see how that plays out. And you can report back on the comments even if I'm not here, because I do read them later. I got Bobby, says they got ice in Elizabeth City. Elizabeth City, North Carolina has ice now. That's a big news flash for those in the harbor of hospitality. Doesn't sound very hospitable to me if you have ice, but that's not your issue, right? That's a temporary thing, and it'll pass too. Patricia Anderson's reporting snow right now in Newport News. Newport News has snow. So my question to you is, we got sleet in Franklin, we got snow in Newport News, we got what do we have? We have other types, ice in Elizabeth City. I mean, which is it? All you weather people, that's what they tell me, right? All you weather people are just guessing. No, we knew you'd have a potpourri of precipitation, but you're all getting different types at 12:25 in the morning. Do you understand how dynamic this is? It's just a matter of time before it goes all to rain for most of us, and we're going to be more concerned about the icing tomorrow morning west of Norfolk, west of Suffolk, and we'll focus on the Gloucesters, the Yorktowns, Williamsburg areas, and Emporia. I think that might be the hot spot. Maybe the cold spot, a cold mess for the icy aspects that could be there heading down the road. All right, just checking in with more comments. Snow in Yorktown, Katrina Gay, thank you so much. You always share us with us on the WTKR photographers page. Katrina, you take such beautiful pictures of the James River, and I want to thank you on behalf of our TV station. We love the fact we get great pictures not only from you, but from hundreds and hundreds and hundreds, if not thousands of you on that page. Some people just like to follow the page to see the beautiful pictures, but thank you for reminding me that when you do post, they are pretty sweet. Let's see here. Will King says it's dumping. I don't know what dumping means because by the time you reach tomorrow morning, you might not have a whole lot. But we'll see how it goes. That's in Kings Grant. And I mentioned that, let's see, posted. Can you attach, let's see, Brady, are you able to attach a photo with the comment? Because I don't know if I'm seeing that on my screen. Usually I can, but for some reason tonight, I am not. And if Taj Brown were here, he could illustrate how he does it. Maybe he could even explain it, but he might be in bed at this hour. Hard to say. I mentioned Diana Whitehurst. She said she's got sleet in Franklin, and we have some snow in Kempsville. So it's all depending on where you are at this particular moment. Let's see here. I'll keep moving. This was the picture we started with from senior meteorologist Miles Henderson. Got some snow in Great Bridge. Love to be able to show more of these pictures. And at some point, maybe we will, but if the software is not letting us do that. That's some snow from years ago. Lori, an example of one of our WTKR photographers in Williamsburg. There's the radar, and there's the snow. And you could probably sense over the last, hour, 2 hours, that there's beginning to see a growing portion of the purple. But we've already gotten ground truth from somebody who lives in Franklin that it's actually sleeting. So if we were to circle, Franklin's getting sleet, but it's showing up as blue. And people get confused by this. And I've said this now, 3 times on this stream. It takes an average temperature. It doesn't know the ground truth. This shows that the mixing's taking place here, but we've already gotten ground truth that it's probably a good combination or blend in Greenbrier. They're also getting snow and sleet, a little bit of both. So, like I said, as soon as the sleet is entered into the equation, you can pretty much say you're done on the snow totals. And I've heard Virginia Beach maybe has an inch, maybe an inch and a half if you're lucky. That's why I said a trace of 2 is probably going to cover it. And we'll be interested to see what the official observer at Norfolk International has when it's all said and done. They're going to probably give us a compilation of snow and sleet, which may be cheating, because nobody's going to make a sleet man or a sleet ball, but you'll make a snowman, you'll make a snowball. See what I mean? I'd rather have the snow content, snow measurement, than the snow and sleet combo. But that's what they do. Sometimes they'll give you both. And so just wanted to show you the map. It is the snow that everyone's talking about right now at 12:28. This is a good time for you to sound off because I'm going to kind of wrap things up. I got some other notes here. Katrina has a follow-up. Hi, Katrina. She says, I also saw snow in the forecast for Thursday. Yeah, it was a few flakes. It's a little clipper system. It's not a storm. I'm sure that there'll be those who will try and make some hay out of it, but it probably has the water equivalent of 1/3 of an inch, and not even that. Probably more like just a few passing snow showers. But it'll be something that we'll watch for next week. I think the cold is the big story next week. I got a note from Donna. Donna is on here. Hi, Donna. Hearing some ice tapping on my windows in Portsmouth. Well, thank you for letting me know that. So that now means that Portsmouth can be added to the Chesapeake, Greenbrier, and the Franklin list of ice. And I don't have anybody here giving me intel on Windsor, but I would suspect that this is nothing but sleet right now. you're probably getting a lot of ding, ding, dings on the, you're like, ooh, what is that? That's sleet. Ooh, what is that? That's ice pellets. That's the same thing, but that's also being reported by our viewers right now in Chesapeake, Portsmouth. Thank you very much for that from Donna, and also TD in Greenbrier. So it's just a matter of time. Like I said, by 2 o'clock in the morning, if you're not sleeting, you will be. And it'll change over shortly thereafter. But you can see it's trying to snow very lightly in Gloucester, lightly in Williamsburg. That'll pick up later on tonight. You're going to see more there. But this is the hour that we're getting Smithfield snow, Norfolk snow, Virginia Beach snow, with maybe some snow ice pellets built in. It's now becoming maybe fashionable to have now not only snow outside, but a little bit of icy pellets at the same exact time. It's amazing. Courtney Harper, glad to have you here. Says Hampton has heavy snow coming down. Thank you so much. I could see why you would have heavy snow there because we have these bright colors, right? We can see that that's pretty clear. As you can see, Williamsburg, Newport News, it's got Smithfield, Cape Charles also. We didn't talk much about the Eastern Shore, but there might be some fallout on the radar, but I suspect you are getting snow also in Cape Charles and possibly all the way up further north toward Exmoor, but it is definitely blue in Norfolk. So the average temperature in Norfolk would suggest mostly snow, but now potentially in Portsmouth getting a little bit of a mix at this time. Thank you, Courtney Harper, for that comment. Checking in with other new ones. Lynn is on here. Nothing. See, she's feeling cheated. Nothing in Cora Peak, Gates County yet. I don't expect a whole. I had flurries for that area as a general rule, but everybody's going to be different. And again, we're just kind of using the best tools that we have to give you the best realistic expectation. It almost looks like over here, I'm going to take this comment. Thank you, Lynn. But if I take my telestrator, you can see there's a little bit of pink over here too, but you got a lot of it down toward Hertford and possibly even into Edenton at this hour. So the mix is underway. The snow parade is about to end. And for those who were ready to pull out the sleds, you're like, put them back, put them back. I certainly don't need a snowblower. Going to go to bed, and by the time I wake up, weatherman says it's probably going to be going down the sewer drain once this turns over to rain. And I do believe that will be the case. All right, so let me just stop and pause here for a second. I'll come back on this camera so I can get my ducks in order, and I can move my maps without making everybody seasick with all the slides that I'm going to take here. Let me just copy this. It'd probably be easier for me to copy and paste it than having to slide it all the way up. But if you have a comment, this would be a good time. Would love to say hi to you. It is now 12:32, and I am actually here live. Everyone's gone home, I presume, but I'm ready to keep an eye on the weather where you are because you're in your neighborhood. This is a great chance to take care of your neighbors, make sure they're okay, and if they're not okay, maybe you could assist. Maybe you could help them. Maybe they are having problems with their heat. Maybe they have to be somewhere tomorrow. Maybe they think they need to be somewhere tomorrow and they need help. If that's the case, you can help out. Just check in and say, hey, well, are you good? Because now that I've got my other map here, this is what I wanted you to see. This is a projection of about 27 minutes from now, because it's 12:33 a.m. The assumption here is that it's already sleeting in Franklin, and we've gotten an observation to say that that is the case. We've got a report of sleet mixing with snow in Chesapeake, and this may not necessarily line up perfectly, but it's a pretty good guide that this is where we're going to be in the next 30-40 minutes. By 1 o'clock, it'll still be snowing in around the Eastern Shore and in Williamsburg and Matthews. But the mix just continues to grow because there's 2 o'clock in the morning and it's changed over, curiously, to rain in Elizabeth City. Are you getting rain in Elizabeth City? Probably not. That just means the temperatures are beginning to warm up and you're getting warmer. But the icy pellets are growing in Hertford, Hertford County, Ahoskie, Gatesville, perhaps back toward Northampton County, into Suffolk, into Isle of Wight. And it's real messy because you're getting copious amounts, generous amounts of sleet. And it continues like this at 3 in the morning. Is this good intel? I think it is because it's the latest update on the graph model. And it shows downtown Norfolk, 3 o'clock in the morning. It's what is that? That's sleet in ample supply. Now, if you go further to Newport News, it might still be snowing, but I suspect it's probably mixing with some sleet in there too in Newport News at 3 in the morning because you're really close to the changeover. And over here in Exmoor might still be getting a little bit more additional snow where you have this like a little ribbon of rain. Do you want to see how this is amazing? Watch it. What a difference an hour makes. Let's go from 3. Let's go to 4. Wow, 4 o'clock, man, that looks very different than it did at 3 or 2. You have to admit, there's a lot more ice back here, and it's starting to show more signs of green, which is the plain old rain. And we got a northeast wind at 15. Tomorrow's winds, or I should say today's winds, because it's now Sunday, at 12:35 a.m., we're going to go from ice to rain. Ice to rain. I'm aiming for a high of 44 tomorrow. Some of you will exceed that. Some of you in North Carolina could be in the 50s tomorrow. What? 50s? We were barely out of the 20s today. I know. That's what's crazy about the weather. That's just the way it goes sometimes, right? It just is the way it goes. So you have to be mindful that these things are fluid, they're dynamic, they're thermodynamical, and we're dealing with a lot more rain here at 4 in the morning, but it gets even sloppier. That's 4:30. Oh, there's 6. I got to show you 6. 6 o'clock. This is why you won't have anything to sled with the kiddos in Norfolk or Chesapeake or maybe even Suffolk, because, well, it's raining hard in some parts of the 757. But at the same time, it's more sleet for Franklin. And I don't like to have to report that to our friends in Franklin, but that's what's likely to be experiencing there. So I just want to make sure everybody's aware that more snow and sleet are on the way, or more sleet in most cases, but the snow is likely going to be bottled up toward Exmoor at that hour. This is 6 o'clock. If you're new to our platform, the timestamp's in the upper right, and this is just a projection. It's not actual gospel, but it's guidance as to what it's going to look like at 6 o'clock in the morning, which is about 5.5 hours from now. But boy, does it blow up at 7. I see the rains becoming more intense in Smithfield. Oh, what time is that? About 7:30. Yeah, about 7:30, it's lights out on the snow. I have no remnants of it anymore. There's not a single sign of snow. It couldn't have snowed last night, Aldrich, unless you did a live stream at midnight. Did you do a live stream at midnight? I did, because otherwise you wouldn't have believed it, right? You would have said, no way did it snow, because all this is going to wash it away. It's going to go away. There won't be any evidence. It's kind of like you have a post or an email, and then it's like deleted. It's gone. There's no sign of it. So if you took a picture of it, we'd have pictures to show. But we get some good comments. I can tell you that we've got some good comments. But this rain is going to be cold. It's going to be windy, and it's also going to wash a lot of it away. We still need to watch Richmond. Still need to watch Williamsburg. Some of our communities, neighborhoods in Virginia and North Carolina to the west may need some assistance because of the icing. Power might be an issue, travel, slippery accidents, all that. Because some people will say, it's fine in Virginia Beach. I don't know why you're having a problem in Richmond. It's because they're getting a different precipitation type, even through 9 o'clock in the morning. Does that make any sense? I'm just trying to say that this is not going to be, Sunday is not going to look anything like today. Today was just Arctic cold and brutal. I say today meaning Saturday, but now we're warming up to mid-40s. And the mid-40s, believe it or not, this is also going to surprise some of you, that 44 tomorrow is the warmest day of the next 7. We're not going to be any warmer than we are tomorrow. So if you're in the 50s in North Carolina tomorrow, meaning later Sunday today, enjoy it, savor it, because it's all going to go bye-bye when we get more reinforcements on the cold. What's it look like at 11 a.m.? 11 a.m. is when a lot of church services start, or maybe you're ending. I don't know, depending on if you go to early church, but look at that. That's a lot of rain. Some people were asking, will I be able to go to church? I don't know. Can you drive in heavy rain? Do you want to drive in heavy rain? That's up to you. I'm not here to say you can't do something. I'm just here to give you the intel so you have the best informed decision that you can make. I do see a lot of rain at 11 o'clock tomorrow morning, and it's going to last through midday as well. There's lunchtime. That's midday. And the icing is still taking place in Richmond and areas along I-95. So there's going to be a sharp line. This is going to be the demarcation or the separation between where you get icy pellets all day long and nothing but steady rain. So somebody who's calling someone from Virginia Beach or North, hey, it's fine here, let's all go out to our friends in Richmond, you're going to have some issues. And I don't want that to be the case. But 12 noon is what this picture represents. And the Eastern Shore, if you had some good snows, it's all washed down the drain as well before lunchtime tomorrow. Got some other notes. Let's see here. Lisa, is Lisa on here? She says hello. In Jarrett, it's 20 degrees. It feels like 10, and it sounds like sleet hitting the house. I believe it is. And it was snowing before sleet. Yeah, that was how it was to play out. Snow first, sleet second, rain third. And then finally, for some, you can see in this map, the sleet doesn't want to go away. this area to the west. That's why I say rain for most, ice inland for North Carolina and Virginia, because you still have some parts of inland North Carolina that are dealing with the same problems that Richmond will have. It's the ice. Let's take you to 1 or 2 o'clock. Now it becomes an afternoon of showers, like a showery pattern. But when it rains, it could pour. So there's 2 o'clock, you get a break. So you think erroneously it's over. It's not. It's not over. Watch how this fills back in. Maybe not at 4, but does it come back in? Oh, there it is. 6, it's come back. And then you got another down, boom, look at it, 9 p.m. I thought it was done. Nope. It wants to hit us in the back of the head on the way out the door. It's still showing signs of icing in the Richmond area. Real problems there. And that's why there was projections here of anywhere from a ½ inch to an inch of sleet or freezing rain, but probably mostly sleet. But here, this is just heavy rain. I'm not so sure I would expect thunder, but I think the heavy rain in orange and red would indicate to me that this is a lot of water and maybe some big puddles. It's 9 o'clock tomorrow night or later tonight. Boy, I keep forgetting what day it is. It's 12:40 in the morning, everybody, at 1 on the 25th of January. Today, January 25th, 2026, it's 12:41 in the morning, so 9 hours from now. More than that. So you're talking about 9 o'clock Sunday night, and then watch what happens at 10. Really rolls over Back Bay, Hickory, Elizabeth City, downpours. And if you're watching Dare or Getter, hopefully on Sunday night, you'll see, hey, it's drying up. The rain's out of here, almost, because by Monday, it's pretty much out of here, and we're looking better. 1 o'clock, it's still clouds, but the storm is essentially gone. But there could be maybe a few flakes. Some of the models wanted to bring maybe a few flurries down here later Monday afternoon. I don't think I carried this out that far, but there could be. Some cold air will wrap around because we're going to only reach about 31 for a high on Tuesday. Monday about 37. So we kind of highlighted that a little bit earlier. So just wanted to check in with you. If you've got some other notes, let's skip ahead. I'll skip ahead when I get back to the radar. This would be fun to look at this radar, and then I can check the comments from you so that you can update me on what you're seeing. Because I know all of us have a different experience at different times of the night, and this is no different. So now we're beginning to see all of this changeover taking place. I'll go ahead and pause it because it can get a little loopy when it's looping every 2 hours. Other notes from you, I see a new comment from Katrina. Thank you, Katrina, for staying up late with us. It's 12:42. You're more than welcome. I do this because I love it, and I love the fact that you guys want to hang out on a Saturday night live streaming with the snow that's affecting a lot of areas now, parts of Chowan County, mixing, Perquimans, Pasquotank, all beginning to see that changeover. And we've had verbal reports from viewers that it's sleeting in Franklin, Chesapeake's getting us some sleet, maybe even Portsmouth starting to hear that noise. And that noise is pretty much unmistakable. Snow doesn't make that noise. Sleet makes that noise because it's actually comprised of ice, little icy pellets that are round and translucent. And that's what many of you are seeing on the radar tonight. Thank you very much, Katrina. Other notes that might be coming in. Let's see here. Jake just finished. Let's see here. Jake is also being very complimentary. Always appreciate that. If you have comments or critiques, I can take those too. But Jake is saying, just finished the UFC fights. Had to check in with my favorite weatherman. Thanks for all you do. Jake, thank you for watching. I appreciate it. My bosses appreciate the complimentary texts and comments too. Not going to lie. Appreciate that. Also, Katrina, I mentioned Debbie. I see Debbie had a very, how did I miss Debbie's comment? She says, looks like the sky dandruff in the bird. Well, give it some more time. There's still some time because it's going to be the last area of Hampton Roads that sees the changeover. I think the last changeover will occur in Williamsburg and then Exmoor. So you're going to get more snow. You're just being teased right now with some dandruff in the sky, Debbie McLean. But thank you so much for watching and appreciate your time as well. Let's see. Somebody who's wanting to go to the gym. I hope you go to the gym. I want to go to the gym on Monday. Guys, I think you'll be fine. Let's hope, and I don't know where you are. Lila Dang, I don't know where you are, but if you are in the Norfolk area, I think you'll be fine. Many of us will see the rain change over. And how many of you remember, like, I don't know if you're like me, I can't remember what I had for lunch a week ago last Tuesday, but if you remember last Sunday's weather, it was miserable. It was cold, it was rainy. It was the day where you're like, I'm going to go to the bowling alley or the movie theater because it's miserable. That was last Sunday. This is just like it. This is like 2 peas in a pod. For many of us, we might have this obviously snow and sleet as a preamble before the sun comes up today, because it's 12:44 a.m. now. But this is mainly going to be a rain event from this point eastward. Our only concern will be if you're within spitting distance of Richmond, you have a better chance of getting some more icing, and that could be an issue. We'll monitor it. We know that there'll be people around the state who need help, and if we get spared the worst of this storm, then we can help those neighbors. That's how it works, right? You look out after each other, you take care of each other. That's what we're supposed to do. I mean, we're all we got, right? We're our neighbors. We look out after each other, even if it's 12:45 in the morning. All right, I'm done my soapbox. I'm very thankful that you're here. Keep posting if you can, or figure out a way to post a picture. Send them to us. We also have a URL, an email address. On the earlier live stream, WTKR, we'd love to see those photos, and we'll get them up as quickly as we can. But I appreciate all of you. Remember, it doesn't matter if the weather is sunny or whether it's serious, whether you're on Team Snow or Team Summer or Spring, it doesn't matter, because you know what? Every day that we're afforded is a gift. So make the most of it. Look out after your pets, your friends, your neighbors, the very old, the very young, and everybody in between. And we'll see you here next week. Take care.